Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Amy.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be discussing The Two of Us by Taylor Torres.
The first few minutes, we're going to do a brief review of the story without any spoilers. Then we are going to shift into a deeper book discussion, which is going to include lots of spoilers, but don't worry, as always, we're going to let you know when we do shift into that deeper book discussion.
That's right. So, Amy, you have a brief description of what The Two of Us is all about, so share that with us.
This is a childhood friends to lovers story with a dual timeline about a young girl who moves to town and takes up a friendship with the brother and sister who live across the street. In the present timeline, her dad becomes ill and she must go back to her small town to see him and deal with the past she's left behind. The story is emotional and heartfelt. Sarah, what did you think about The Two of Us?
I love this story. It was kind of had a somber tone to it a little bit, but there's a friendship throughout that I really love the dynamic of. I love the portrayal of grief that this character kind of goes through. There's some grief that she's dealing with, and just the different take that Taylor had on this for this character. Yeah, there's a lot throughout that was really, I'm excited to discuss. What did you think of it?
It was an emotional ride. Like you said, full of emotion. It's heartfelt and love. I love the dual timeline of this story because it's like watching this journey of this friendship bloom and develop, which I really liked. I feel like some of those are my favorite kinds of stories.
Yeah, mine too.
It feels like you have a stake in the friendship as you watch it kind of develop and grow, which I love so much. It's so beautiful, and I definitely will recommend this one.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not a dual point of view, I love a dual timeline. That's kind of the way I want it. It needs to be one or the other. It can't be like just
to give you that backstory for sure. All right, let's get into our ratings. Angst.
Okay, Angst. This was a 3 for me.
Me too.
Yay! We're so connected. There's some things that take place in the story that I wasn't really sure why it was happening. I wasn't sure where it was going, the direction. It kind of upped the angst. And some of the choices of the character, there's miscommunication a little bit. And so that always kind of ups the rating for me.
For me, it was the push and pull dynamic of the main characters, kind of some back and forth things on that really lent itself to more angst for me. But it was bearable to me, I felt like.
Yes, it was bearable. And you know that I struggle with things. I did well with this one.
All right, humor.
Okay, humor. This was a 1.5.
Okay, I was higher.
Higher, okay.
I did 2.75.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It was dark humor?
Well...
Okay, so for me, I felt like it was more, she has some funny moments throughout, some internal dialogue. There's a particular friendship that lent a lot of chuckles for me. But I mean, I did feel like it had more of a serious tone. So now I'm curious as to why.
Don't be mistaken by my rating. It is definitely a serious tone to it. But despite the heavy topic, I found there was humor kind of woven throughout.
Sure.
And I felt like the author's writing style really lent itself to kind of some witty inner dialogue for the characters, which I love. Even the first chapter, right out of the gate, I'm chuckling on the inside just thinking about some of the inner dialogue that the character's having. So that's why I rated it a little bit higher. Spiciness.
Okay, spiciness. This was just a 0.75 for me.
Okay,
that seems like it's less.
I did 1.75.
What?
Yeah.
We are so, okay.
We started
I just didn't feel like, well, one, there's just not a lot.
That's true.
Did you,
it was
for
pretty
tension?
Mild. Yeah, it was pretty mild. The tension was on point. The actual spicy scenes were pretty chill and nondescription.
Yeah.
But the tension, I felt like, bumped it up a bit for me.
Interesting. I didn't feel that.
You disagree?
I didn't feel that, guys. I felt like it was just, I mean, there is a spice scene, but it wasn't like, ooh, spicy. And I didn't feel as much tension. I guess because the previous book we read, there was quite a bit of tension. So for me to this,
compared to that one,
compared to this one, I didn't feel.
All right, tears.
Tears. This was a 2.75 for me.
Not just because differing on all these except
I know we are never this vastly different. You were higher? Okay,
carry on.
See, I probably should rate it higher. I felt like, okay, I'm gonna keep it there. So I was sad. I did cry. There was moments that I did. I was very. There was one scene in particular which we will discuss that I absolutely was having a moment of tears. And it is emotional throughout, but it wasn't it didn't feel overwhelming, even though there's a lot of grief in this. It wasn't unbearable for me.
I did 3.75 because, drumroll please, I did cry in this story. Shocking. I know.
What?
I know. I actually cried real tears. This story moved me to tears, and it's probably not going to be the same scene that you cried. I'll be interested to dig into that in the deeper discussion.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
But there was definitely a lot of emotions at play in the story, and so I bumped it up.
I probably should. I'm thinking of 3 specific things. No, 4. Yeah. I'm going to keep it 2.7.
All right, overall.
Okay, overall, this was a 4.25 for me. This story is so beautifully written. I do believe it's her first novel. Is that correct? I think. I may be making a mistake, but I think that this is her first novel.
What a great one.
So good. If this is for the first, I can't wait to see what comes out next. It was just a moving story, and the way that she navigated these characters through what they go through. I loved it.
I gave 4.5 out of 5. It was just incredibly beautiful for one thing, but I love childhood friends to lovers tropes that really have that rich backstory, and I felt like this one definitely has those components to it. It was written so beautifully. If this is her debut novel, wow, what a one to come out with. Yeah, and it's just beautiful. It's going to stay with me.
Yeah, it's going to stay with me for sure too. I'm pretty sure this is debut, so if I'm wrong, somebody correct me.
All right, well, that concludes a spoiler-free quick review of this story. If you would like to continue the conversation with us and listen to our full, deeper discussion of this episode, you can simply click the link below, or you can search on any available podcast platform by simply searching Post-Book Depression. Then we would love for you to connect with us on social media. You can find us on Instagram at Post-Book Depression Podcast, or in our Facebook Post-Book Depression discussion group, and you can always email us at postbookdepressionpodcast@gmail.com.